Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Thaneja. Coming up in the next hour. Afghanistan Foreign Minister issues a stern warning to Islamabad. Taliban claims 58 Pakistani soldiers killed in retaliatory border attacks. US President Donald Trump and his Egyptian counterpart Abdel Fattah El-Sisi to co-chair Gaza Peace Summit in Sharm el-Sheikh on Monday. Over 20 heads of state expected to attend. Israel expects all 20 living hostages to be released in one go by Hamas on Monday. Trump to address Israel's parliament Knesset on Monday.
The release of our hostages will begin early Monday morning. We are expecting all 20 of our living hostages to be released together at one time to the Red Cross.
Tensions soar in the South China Sea as Philippines and China accuse each other for vessel clash near the disputed islands. And China warns the US of countermeasures if Trump doesn't walk back on 100% tariff threat, accuses the US of double standards. Afghanistan officials claim that their forces killed 58 Pakistani soldiers in overnight border operations, a figure Pakistan puts at 23. Pakistan says its security forces eliminated more than 200 Taliban fighters, a figure Taliban puts at 9. Key border crossings at Torkham and Chaman are now shut, stranding hundreds of trucks. Saudi Arabia and Qatar have urged both sides to exercise restraint and resolve tensions through dialogue. Key border crossings between Pakistan and Afghanistan were closed on Sunday after fierce clashes erupted overnight following accusations made from Taliban that Islamabad had carried out airstrikes this week. The Taliban government in Afghanistan said its forces killed 58 Pakistani soldiers in retaliatory strikes and admitted that 9 Taliban troops were also killed in the clashes.
Last night's operation was a retaliation for Pakistan violating Afghanistan's airspace. The operation was conducted along the entire Durand Line border. Our Mujahideen captured more than 20 posts and 58 Pakistani soldiers were killed, while around 30 were injured. Up to 9 Mujahideen were martyred, and we have 16 to 18 wounded.
On the other hand, the Pakistan military said in a statement on Sunday that more than 200 were killed on the Afghan side and 23 of its own soldiers were lost in the clashes, with 29 soldiers injured. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif condemned what he said were provocations by Afghanistan along Pakistan's border area overnight and vowed firm response. On Friday, 11 more Pakistani soldiers were killed in a clash with Islamist terrorists in the Tira area close to the Afghan border, according to Pakistani security officials. Afghan Taliban Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi, who is on a 6-day visit to New Delhi, had on Friday called Pakistan's attacks in the border areas a big mistake. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, also known as the Pakistani Taliban, had claimed responsibility for the series of deadly attacks on Friday across northwestern districts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Islamabad says terrorists of the TTP operate from Afghanistan, a charge Kabul denies. TTP terrorists have intensified their activities against Pakistani security forces in the mountainous areas bordering Afghanistan in recent months. The TTP, which shares the same ideology as that of the Taliban, has been trained in Afghanistan. Islamabad accuses TTP of killing hundreds of its soldiers since 2021. Qatar and Saudi Arabia mediated following the exchange of fire between Afghanistan and Pakistan on Saturday night. Afghanistan Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi on Sunday expressed his desire for good relations with Pakistan, but also issued a stern warning to Islamabad in case tensions continue.
खतर और सऊदी अरबिस्तान उन्होंने
Afghanistan's friends, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, said the war should stop. So the war stopped from our end and the situation now is under control. So we want good relations. We are in favor of zero tension. If they do not want to engage in dialogue, then Afghanistan has other ways to handle the situation.
Although no further clashes were reported on Sunday, people waited to return to Afghanistan after border crossings were closed earlier in the day. Bureau Report, DD India.
Moving further westwards, as the ceasefire holds in Gaza, all eyes are now set on Egypt as it hosts an international peace summit in the Red Sea resort city of Sharm el-Sheikh on Monday. Leaders from more than 20 countries have been invited to participate in the summit, co-chaired by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and his American counterpart Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Israel has said it will not send any representative to the peace summit in Sharm el-Sheikh. DD India's Dheeraj Das reports.
Egypt will host an international summit on Monday in the Red Sea resort city of Sharm el-Sheikh, aimed at finalizing a peace agreement to end the Gaza conflict. US President Donald Trump and his Egyptian counterpart Abdel Fattah el-Sisi will chair the peace summit, also to be attended by more than 20 world leaders. According to Egypt's presidential spokesperson, the peace summit will aim to end the war in the Gaza Strip, enhance efforts to achieve peace and stability in the Middle East, and usher in a new era of regional security and stability. On Sunday, the Egyptian Foreign Ministry said a document ending the war in the Gaza Strip was expected to be signed during the historic gathering. The summit was aimed at inaugurating a new chapter of peace and security and alleviating the suffering of the Palestinian people in Gaza. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said he would attend the summit. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, his Italian counterpart Giorgia Meloni, and Pedro Sanchez of Spain would also be present at the peace summit. French President Emmanuel Macron and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan will also travel to Sharm el-Sheikh. Jordan's King Abdullah II is also expected to attend the summit. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz also confirmed that he will attend the summit in Sharm el-Sheikh. The European Council will be represented by its President Antonio Costa. India will be represented by Minister of State for External Affairs Kirtivardhan Singh in the summit. But there was no immediate word on whether Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would participate, while Hamas has said it will not take part in the summit. Prior to the peace summit in Egypt, US President Donald Trump will be in Israel on Monday morning and address the Knesset. He is also expected to meet with the families of the hostages. Billboards and banners thanking Trump filled the streets and squares in Tel Aviv ahead of his summit, when hostages held by Hamas for over 2 years are expected to be released under a US brokered deal.
We are on the cusp of true peace in the Middle East, really for the first time in my lifetime. Certainly, these 20 hostages are going to come home to their families, George. I think this is a great moment for our country. Our country should be proud of our diplomats who made this happen. It's really a great moment for the world, too, which is why the president's going to go over there and celebrate with these hostages. But it's a great thing, and I'm very excited about it.
The high-level gathering comes as Washington pushes for an agreement brokered by the United States to formally end months of conflict between Israel and Hamas, following a series of temporary ceasefires and humanitarian negotiations. The Sharm el-Sheikh summit could mark a turning point if the proposed deal is signed, potentially paving the way for post-war reconstruction and renewed diplomatic engagement across the West Asia region. Dheeraj Das's report for DD India.
So after 2 years of the devastating conflict, a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has taken hold, offering a rare moment of hope in Gaza. Under a US brokered deal, both sides have begun the process for exchange of hostages and prisoners, while aid convoys roll into the enclave for the first time in months. Israeli government has said that the release of hostages held in Gaza will begin early Monday morning, and all 20 living hostages are expected to be released to the Red Cross together in one go. DD India's Nishchoy Roy has more.
After 2 years of relentless conflict, a fragile calm has finally descended over Gaza. The guns have fallen silent, and for the first time in months, hope flickers across a conflict-torn landscape.
The release of our hostages will begin early Monday morning. We are expecting all 20 of our living hostages to be released together at one time to the Red Cross. Israel is ready. If a living hostage requires any urgent medical attention, they will be brought to a medical facility immediately. We are also ready and prepared to receive the bodies of our 28 hostages who have the living hostages after the living hostages are released. These hostages were either murdered by terrorists on October 7th, murdered in captivity, or have been held in Gaza by terrorists since 2014.
Families, long divided by fear and rubble, now inch towards what was once home, walking, driving and riding carts along the Gaza coast.
We've been sleeping in the streets for a week. We don't even have tents or anything with us. God willing, the war remains halted. May God bring what is good. I just hope that when we reach the north, we won't have to leave again, and that the war truly ends.
In Tel Aviv, prayers mingled with anticipation as families gathered in Hostages Square, awaiting reunions once thought impossible.
I think it's beautiful and also scary at the same time. But I don't know, I'm sure it's going to be a big surprise for when they come home to see how many people truly do care. And I don't know, it's so sad to think that these people might not ever be the same, and I'm just happy that it's over.
Addressing the crowds at the Hostages Square, US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said the hostages are coming home and praised Donald Trump for making a Gaza ceasefire and hostage return deal possible.
We all owe a debt of deep gratitude to President Trump. In the worst of times, he refused to accept the idea that peace in the Mideast was out of reach. He brought together nations once divided by generations of conflict and showed us that shared peace is stronger than shared pain.
On Sunday, 8 trucks entered Gaza from Kerem Shalem after Israel opened the border crossing. According to the ceasefire agreement, humanitarian aid will be ramped up and permitted to travel freely between North and South Gaza on the 2 main roads. Meanwhile, in West Bank, buses lined up near Ofer prison as Israel prepared to release Palestinian prisoners. In return, Hamas is expected to free 48 remaining hostages, only 20 believed to be alive, in exchange for 250 long-term prisoners and 1,700 detainees held by Israel. Brokered by the United States, the truce offers a narrow but powerful promise. Across borders and battle lines, cautious optimism rises that this ceasefire may be more than a pause, but perhaps the first step towards peace. Nishchoy Roy's report for DD India.
You're watching DD India News. Still to come on the show. 3 Qatari diplomats killed in car crash in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh. Heavy rains caused widespread flooding and landslides in Mexico. At least 41 killed across 4 states. And world's oldest president, Paul Biya, at 92, votes in Cameroon election, hoping for an 8th term.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. अरे it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I am Tanvi Taneja. 3 Qatari diplomats were killed and 2 injured in a car crash on Sunday near the Egyptian town of Sharm el-Sheikh. Egyptian state-linked media said that 5 Qataris and an Egyptian driver were in the vehicle when it crashed due to a loss of control of the steering wheel. The Qatari embassy in Cairo expressed deep sorrow and grief over the 3 diplomats' deaths. Diplomats and official delegations had descended on the Red Sea resort town in recent days to negotiate a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal. On to the Russia-Ukraine conflict now. Russian air defense units destroyed 32 Ukrainian drones overnight into Sunday over regions including Moscow, Bryansk and Kursk, according to TASS, citing the Russian Defense Ministry. The operation involved Pantsir-S and S-400 systems with no casualties or significant damage noted. This follows a surge in drone attacks amid escalating tensions, with Ukraine targeting Russian oil refineries, prompting retaliatory strikes on Ukrainian energy infrastructure. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said he spoke on the telephone with US President Donald Trump on Sunday, the second time in 2 days, about strengthening Kiev's air defense, energy and long-range strike capabilities. Zelensky said Russia's concern about the Tomahawks showed that such pressure could be effective in pushing Moscow towards peace.
I just spoke with US President Donald Trump for the second time in recent days. We are working in detail with America to strengthen us, our air defense, all our defense capabilities, Patriots, first of all, other systems, also our active actions, our long-range strike capability. We see and hear that Russia is afraid that the Americans might give us Tomahawks. This is a signal that this kind of pressure can work for the sake of peace.
Back to Asia. Philippines on Sunday accused Chinese maritime forces of using water cannon and ramming a Filipino vessel near the disputed Thitu Island, a move it called a violation of the territory and escalating tensions in the contested South China Sea waters. The Philippine Coast Guard said 3 vessels were anchored to protect local fishermen when Chinese ships approached aggressively. A video shows Chinese Coast Guard ship 21559 firing water cannon at a Philippine boat. China's embassy in Manila has yet to respond. Tensions between the 2 nations have intensified this year, especially around the Scarborough Shoal. China claims nearly the entire South China Sea, a vital trade route also contested by Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines and Vietnam. The US-China trade war is back in focus as President Trump threatened 100% tariffs on Chinese goods and new tech export controls. Beijing hit back, accusing Washington of double standards, following its own curbs on rare earth exports. With key materials at stake, tensions rise ahead of a possible Trump-Xi meeting at the upcoming Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation (APEC) summit scheduled at the end of this month in South Korea.
China has accused US of double standards after President Donald Trump threatened to impose a 100% tariff on Chinese goods. along with new export controls on critical software starting November 1. Trump revived the trade war, citing Beijing's unprecedented position following China's recent curbs on rare earth exports. Beijing on Thursday announced new export controls effective from November 8, covering super hard materials, rare earth-related equipment and materials, lithium batteries, and synthetic graphite anodes. China insists these are not outright bans, saying licenses will be granted to eligible exporters. China's Ministry of Commerce criticized Washington's repeated use of tariffs as a negotiation tactic, calling it not the right approach. This comes after months of a fragile truce between the two nations, which had previously scaled back trade tensions. In a statement, the ministry said China's export controls followed a series of US actions since trade talks in Madrid last month, including blacklisting Chinese firms and imposing port fees on China-linked ships. On the streets of Beijing, citizens expressed little surprise or concern over the developments.
Honestly, I think if the two countries keep fighting like this, it will only hurt both sides in the long run. It's bad for China and it's bad for the US. More harm than good. In the end, peace is what matters most.
I felt nothing when I saw the news because, to be honest, Trump always has these childlike or capricious policies. For us, we don't really feel anything anymore because China isn't afraid of US sanctions or policies aimed at limiting us.
Hopes for a meeting between Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping at the upcoming APEC summit are now uncertain. Trump has threatened to pull out, citing China's hostile stance. With rare earth elements now at the center of the dispute, US new trade measures reflect its growing concern over China's tightening grip on critical supply chains. Ravindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
On to Africa now. Cameroonians in the commercial capital Douala began voting on Sunday in a presidential election where incumbent president, the world's oldest ruler at 92, Paul Biya, is widely expected to maintain his 43-year-old grip on power despite an energized opposition pushing for change. Biya's opponents include former government spokesperson Isa Sheroma, who has drawn large crowds demanding an end to the veteran leader's long tenure. However, analysts say that Biya, in power since 1982, is likely to be re-elected given his firm control of state machinery and the fragmented nature of the opposition. On the other hand, Cameroon opposition candidate Joshua Osea alleged widespread election fraud on Sunday after voting in a poll expected to extend President Paul Biya's 41-year rule, citing over 100 cases of irregularities across the country.
Just as I voted, I realized that there is a lot of room for rigging. And I would like to mention here that we, at this time of the day, we already have more than 100 cases of rigging all over the territory that have come to my attention. And I think one of the worst cases is what is going on in Limbe in the southwest region, which is a shame that people should try to stuff ballot boxes with more than 100 ballots in favor of the candidate of the CPDM. It's a shame, but at the same time, it's kind of rewarding. It means that if they need to cheat, they duly understand that their candidate doesn't have the favors of the people.
Further eastwards, opposition leader from United Seychelles, Patrick Hermanie, has won the Seychelles presidential runoff vote, securing 52.7% of the votes on Sunday. Hermanie won the race against incumbent Wavel Ramkalawan's 47.3% votes, as per Electoral Commission of Seychelles official results. The race, following no majority in the September 27th first round, centered on climate vulnerability, rising sea levels, economic pressures and a heroin crisis affecting up to 10% of the 120,000 population. Hermanie pledged to slash living costs, bolster public services, combat drug addiction and cancel a controversial 70-year Qatari lease on Assumption Island near Al Dabra UNESCO site, citing sovereignty interference. And on to Madagascar now, where the Armed Forces Minister officially recognized General Demosthene Piculis as the new army chief on Sunday, following his selection by the CAPSAT unit that recently sided with anti-government protesters. Piculis was formally installed during a ceremony at army headquarters, with the minister declaring to give him his blessing. The move marks a significant shift amid growing pressure on President André Rajoelina to step down. And next, weather updates. Floods caused by torrential rains have killed at least 41 people in Mexico in recent days and left behind a trail of destruction. Mexico's civil defense authorities reported intense rainfall in 31 of the 32 states, causing rivers to overflow, flooding entire villages, triggering landslides and collapsing roads and bridges. The central state of Hidalgo has been among the worst affected areas, with authorities there reporting at least 22 dead, 1,000 homes damaged, and 90 communities inaccessible to rescuers. The Bangladesh Army has detained 15 officers over allegations of crimes against humanity. The move follows arrest warrants issued by the International Crimes Tribunal. 15 army officers, including 14 still in service, were taken into custody after the International Crimes Tribunal issued warrants for 30 individuals in 2 separate cases in their alleged role in enforced disappearances and torture. One senior officer remains unaccounted for. The army says it is committed to justice and awaits the official charge sheet to decide further course of action. In a landmark development, the next stage of the Indian housing project in Sri Lanka commenced on Sunday. The event witnessed the formal handover of entitlement documents to 2,000 beneficiaries from the Indian origin Tamil community in Sri Lanka's upcountry region. The houses are part of the 4th phase of the Indian housing project that was announced by Prime Minister Modi during his visit to the upcountry region in 2017. Speaking at the event, the Sri Lankan president thanked the Indian government for the assistance in supporting Sri Lanka.
The government of India has extended substantial financial assistance to Sri Lanka. The support plays a crucial role in strengthening the Sri Lanka's economic stability.
Meanwhile, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, highlighted the scale and depth of the project, reinforcing India's holistic approach to community empowerment.
India's commitment to housing covers 65,000 houses today spread across Sri Lanka. It covers all 25 districts of the country. It is a grant commitment of over 64 billion Sri Lankan rupees in today's terms.
And next we take a look at other stories making news around the world. A massive fire has severely damaged the 17th century Bernaga monastery in La Valletta Brianza in Italy. Drone footage captured the blaze as it tore through the convent founded in 1628. All 22 cloistered nuns were safely evacuated with no injuries reported. Most of the site's artworks were destroyed. The cause of the fire is under investigation. A large-scale fire swept through a neighborhood in Pamplona Alta on the outskirts of Peru's Lima, damaging at least 100 homes and affecting around 300 residents. Authorities reported that 4 people were injured. Firefighters quickly responded to the blaze. 18-year-old Jaira Joy from the Netherlands made history by becoming the first female winner of the Red Bull Dance Your Style World Final. The 2025 edition featured the competition's first all-female final and was held before 10,000 fans at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles. And a 4.7 magnitude earthquake struck in China's Lushan County on Sunday at 15:21 hours local time, according to the China Earthquake Network Center. The quake occurred at a depth of 10 kilometers. Tremors were felt in nearby cities, including Chengdu and Leshan. No casualties were reported. You're with us on DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. An expert take on the latest escalation at the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand arrives in New Delhi. And National Democratic Alliance announces its seat-sharing arrangement for the upcoming Bihar Assembly elections.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Here are our top stories. Afghan's foreign minister issues a stern warning to Islamabad. Taliban claims 58 Pakistani soldiers killed in retaliatory border attacks. US President Donald Trump and his Egyptian counterpart Abdel Fattah El-Sisi to co-chair Gaza ceasefire summit in Sharm el-Sheikh on Monday. Over 20 heads of state expected to attend. Israel expects all 20 living hostages to be released in one go by Hamas on Monday. Trump to address Israel's parliament Knesset on Monday. Going back to our top story, Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi, who is visiting India, has issued a stern warning to Pakistan, cautioning it against testing the courage of Afghans. The Taliban described the attack as an unprecedented act, accusing Pakistan of an incursion deep into its land.
Our remote areas have come under attack. We condemn this and we believe that this action by the Pakistan government is a major mistake. Problems cannot be resolved in this way. Afghanistan's history testifies that such issues cannot be resolved through force. The doors of dialogue should remain open and dialogue must happen.
And Prabhu Dayal, former senior Indian diplomat, joins us on the show now. Welcome, Mr. Dayal, to DD India News Hour. First of all, could you explain the reasons for the intermittent border clashes between Pakistan and Afghanistan? What are the key issues behind the hostilities between the two countries?
First of all, Tanvi, thanks for having me on your show. Now, there are many issues. First of all, let me say that Pakistan had helped the Taliban to return to power in Kabul. And I thought that the Taliban would be a manageable proxy. But its perception has been totally wrong because the Taliban has proved to be totally independent and has decided not to work under Pakistani influence. It has been totally uncooperative towards the government in Islamabad. In fact, relations have deteriorated significantly since the Taliban's return to power in August 2021. Now, the core issue at present is Pakistan's accusation that the Taliban government harbors and supports the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, or the TTP, which Islamabad blames for a surge in militant attacks within Pakistan. Now, of course, the two nations have a long history of strained relations and conflicting views over the Durand Line, which was the border established during the colonial era. Afghanistan has never recognized the border, and this adds another layer of animosity. Again, Pakistan's mass deportation of Afghan nationals, including those with legal refugee status, has also exacerbated tensions and further strained relations. Now, the tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan have been escalating. Relations now are at an all-point low following the major escalation involving cross-border airstrikes and heavy clashes. Now, Pakistan accuses the Taliban government of sheltering the anti-Pakistan militants from the TTP. Of course, the Taliban denies this claim. And recently, on October 9, 2025, when the Afghan foreign minister was in India, Pakistan conducted airstrikes in Kabul targeting a leader of the TTP. Now, this marked a significant escalation with the TTP, vowing retaliation. And in response, the Afghan Taliban launched retaliatory attacks, leading to fierce clashes along the border. And these clashes have been taking place from October 11 onwards. So both sides claim to have captured border posts and inflicted casualties. However, the fighting prompted Pakistan to close key border crossings, including Torkham and Chaman.
Okay.
Now, this escalated while, as I said, the Afghan foreign minister was on a visit to India. And he very categorically said that if Pakistan wants to escalate, then Afghanistan will have no option but to do so. Of course, he also pointed out that Afghanistan wants peace. It doesn't want an escalation. At the same time, you know, some key players like Saudi Arabia and Qatar have tried to mediate and to de-escalate. But as things stand at the moment, tensions are on the boil. And given the recent militant clashes and the ongoing disputes, it is unlikely that tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan are going to ease in the near future.
Okay, some experts say that the Taliban lack the capacity to fight the Pakistan military head-on. Would you agree with that assessment? And what does that mean for the nature of hostilities between the two countries?
You know, of course, Pakistan is militarily much stronger. But in a conflict of this sort, there are many factors which come into play. First of all, the terrain. Secondly, Pakistan's own internal situation. Pakistan is under militant attacks in Balochistan as also in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So, given this fragile internal situation, Pakistan's capacity to strike at Afghanistan gets reduced because the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan operate both from within Pakistan and from across the border. So I don't think that Pakistan is in a position to really overturn the sort of situation. But of course, as I said, it is militarily much stronger, though the capacity of the Afghan side to strike back has been amply demonstrated in recent days.
Okay. Lastly, sir, what are the political, economic and other implications for the South Asian region if the hostilities between the two countries continue?
Well, conflicts are not good for any region. And this escalation of tensions between Pakistan and Afghanistan doesn't augur well at all for the future of either country. Of course, Afghanistan is in great economic difficulty. India has tried its best to assist Afghanistan with relief supplies, humanitarian aid, and also with the development of infrastructure projects. As regards Pakistan, its own weak economic situation is not hidden from anybody. And in fact, Pakistan has been trying to reach out to other countries, including especially the United States, to bail it out in this sort of a situation. And now, Pakistan has struck a deal for critical minerals in Pakistan to be explored by American firms. And in fact, it has signed a deal in this context. However, how can such a deal make any headway if there is militancy within two of the key areas for critical minerals, that is Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa? So for this reason, the internal situation in Pakistan stands to lose considerably if tensions with Afghanistan do not ease. Of course, Afghanistan also cannot afford an escalation of tensions because its own internal economic situation is very, very weak and fragile. and it can afford to do without this sort of escalation of tension. Nonetheless, the Pakistani attack on Kabul does not augur well at all for the bilateral relations between these two countries, as also for the regional situation in South Asia.
Okay, and sir, why are Saudi Arabia and Qatar especially concerned about these intermittent border clashes? Can they help find a lasting solution to this conflict?
You know, both countries exert a lot of influence on the warring parties. Saudi Arabia has recently signed a bilateral pact with Pakistan which relates to mutual defense. In other words, attacks on Pakistan would be interpreted by Pakistan as attack also on Saudi Arabia, because that is the sort of terminology which is used in the bilateral agreement. Attacks on one country will be construed as an attack on the other. So for this reason, Saudi Arabia doesn't want an escalation of this tension. As regards Qatar, you know, Qatar has played a very important role in the reinstallation of the Taliban in power in Kabul. In fact, all the talks which were held in this context were held in Doha. So both these countries want a de-escalation. They don't want Pakistan and Afghanistan to escalate tensions because things will go out of hand. In fact, nobody wants an escalation of tension. But the authorities in Islamabad seem to think that they are militarily much stronger and they have escalated the tension instead of trying to diffuse matters.
Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu Dayalji, for being with us and your analysis on the subject, where tomorrow we hope the Gaza crisis gets solved and nobody wants more wars in the world. Thank you very much, Prabhu Dayalji, for being with us on the show. All right, let's move on now. Canadian Foreign Minister Neeta Anand arrived in New Delhi on Sunday for a two-day visit aimed at strengthening bilateral ties. She will meet with her Indian counterpart, Dr. S. Jaishankar, and Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal to discuss a strategic cooperation framework focused on trade diversification, energy transition and security, according to Global Affairs Canada. More from India. In a major development ahead of the upcoming Bihar Assembly elections, the National Democratic Alliance (NDA) has finalized its seat-sharing arrangement. All key alliance partners have agreed to the distribution, marking the completion of the first phase of NDA's electoral strategy. Under the agreement, BJP and JDU will contest 101 seats each. Lok Janshakti Party, Ram Vilas, has been allocated 29 seats. Rashtriya Lok Janta Morcha (RLJM) and Hindustani Awam Morcha (HAM) will contest 6 seats each. The announcement came after a formal talk of the top leaders of allies in the BJP headquarters in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also visited the BJP headquarters and met with National President of the party JP Nadda and other senior leaders. The Indian state of Assam is taking a leap towards global opportunities as Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma on Sunday launched the Chief Minister's Foreign Languages Initiative for Global Human Talent in Guwahati. The program aims to equip the state's youth with foreign language skills, opening doors to international employment and fostering economic self-reliance. During his address, Assam Chief Minister highlighted that remittances from such opportunities could become a key source of foreign exchange, boosting Assam's economy.
Remittance is always a big source for earning forex, foreign exchange. It also make your state put your state in the global positioning. So this scheme will also indirectly help in the growth of Assam economy.
In a residential meet held in the western Indian state of Goa, Chairman of Prasar Bharati, Navneet Kumar Sehgal, joined leading financial professionals to discuss the pivotal role of chartered accountants in shaping the future of India. The event, held on Sunday, centered around the theme Chartered Accountants' Role in Realizing the Vision of Viksit Bharat at 2047, aligning with India's long-term goal of becoming a fully developed and self-reliant nation. In his address, Sehgal highlighted India's rapid economic growth.
For the last 10 years, we are one of the largest economy which is growing at the fastest rate. We are growing at 6.8 to 7% in between. No economy in the world of this size is growing at that point, this thing.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Australian airline Qantas says millions of customers' data leaked online. Tributes pour in for Oscar-winning actress Diane Keaton, who passed away at 79. And meet Spain's oldest chess player Manuel Alvarez as he turns 104.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. Australian airline Qantas said data from 5.7 million customers stolen in a major cyber attack this year had been shared online, part of a leak affecting dozens of firms. Many sectors like Disney, Google, IKEA, Toyota, McDonald's and fellow airlines Air France and KLM have also reported to have had their data stolen in a cyber attack targeting software firm Salesforce, with the information now being held to ransom. Qantas confirmed in July that hackers had targeted one of its customer contact centers and breached privacy and secured access to sensitive information such as customers' names, email addresses, phone numbers and even birthdays. In defence, the airline has obtained a legal injunction with the Supreme Court of the New South Wales to prevent the stolen data being accessed, viewed, released, used, transmitted or published by anyone, including third parties. Oscar-winning actress Diane Keaton passed away at the age of 79. Her family confirmed the news. Keaton, who appeared in more than 60 films, including the Godfather trilogy, The First Wives Club, and 8 films with Allen, stood out in Hollywood with her personal style. She was known for her unique charm, emotional performances, and quirky fashion, and was a defining figure in American cinema for over 5 decades. National award-winning producer and actress Neetu Chandra's new film, Chhat, is releasing on Prasar Bharati's OTT platform Waves. Neetu has also been appointed as Bihar State Sweep Icon by the Election Commission of India to inspire voters to take part in the Festival of Democracy, the upcoming Bihar Assembly election. Our correspondent Jaya Sinha had an exclusive interaction with her. Listen in.
Joining us today is a powerhouse of talent, actress, national award-winning producer, and a true ambassador who always celebrated our roots through her art and culture. I'm talking about none other than Neetu Chandra. Neetu, welcome to DD India. Thank you for talking to us. First of all, you are back with your exciting new project. Tell us about that.
Thank you so much. Our next project is called Chhat. It's a film of 2.5 hours. We have shot the entire film in Bihar, as always, and this is a beautiful film, an emotion, faith and tradition of a joint family drama, and it's releasing on the 24th on Waves OTT platform.
Definitely. The film is releasing on your very own OTT platform, that is Waves. Tell us about your association with Waves. When Waves was launched, two of your very beautiful films were there on the Waves. How you have seen Waves' journey? It's just been a year.
Yeah, I know. Waves has come as a hope for all the filmmakers, because the kind of films Waves is taking and the way they are promoting the new filmmakers, especially from different languages, is beautiful. And there were limited OTT platforms which would not consider the languages from every part of India, because there were like hordes of movies, but Waves is something which we really look up to.
So she mentioned about Chhat. Chhat is one of the biggest festivals of Bihar. And right now, Bihar is gripped with election fever. And you have been named as a sweep icon by the election commissioner. Tell us about that and how you are planning to promote and educate people to come and vote.
Well, this is our time, the time of the population, the voters of Bihar, 13 crore voters. I would request each and every voter of Bihar to please come and vote. It is very, very important. As the sweep icon of Election Commission of Bihar, I present them at a level where I can request every voter to please, please, please come out of their houses. ये हमारा मौका है, and we should not let it go because future is in our hands.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Neetu. So do go and check out Neetu Chandra's latest movie, Chhat, on the OTT platform Waves. And the way she said, every vote is important. So please do cast your vote. With camera person Uttam, this is Jaya Sinha for DT India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sporting action. In the heart of the national capital, New Delhi, energy and enthusiasm filled the air as the 20th edition of the Vedanta Delhi Half Marathon came to a grand conclusion on Sunday. Thousands of runners hit the streets in a powerful celebration of fitness, unity and spirit. It was a Kenyan sweep of titles as Alex Matata and Lilian Kasait Rengjuruk took home memorable title wins. Our correspondent Abhishek Prasad was on the ground to capture the colours, the champions and the camaraderie.
3, 2, 1, and we go!
It was an early morning to remember as the country's capital woke up to a festive atmosphere as participants from all walks of life, professionals, students, soldiers and senior citizens converged at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi for the 20th edition of the Vedanta Delhi Half Marathon, an event that fittingly kick-started the city's Diwali festivities with spirit, sweat and smiles.
And here, the Vedanta Delhi Half Marathon, the 20th edition, has been kicked off from the iconic Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium here in New Delhi. And here you can see that more than 40,000, over 40,000 runners are participating.
The city streets turned into a moving canvas of color and camaraderie as the participants decked in the race-breaking barriers marked the 20th edition of the road race. This year's event once again celebrated inclusivity and diversity through categories such as the Great Delhi Run, the Champions with Disability Run, and the Senior Citizens Run, each echoing the indomitable human spirit. The event was flagged off in the presence of several dignitaries, including Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena, Union Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia, and Delhi CM Rekha Gupta. As event's international ambassador, Olympic legend Carl Lewis cheered from the sidelines. The Kenyans stamped their authority once again in the elite field. Alex Matata won the men's race in 59 minutes 50 seconds, while Lilian Kasat Rengjuruk took the women's crown with a time of 1 hour 7 minutes 20 seconds.
It was not very much tough for me. I had an experience because when we started the race, in fact, at 10 kilometers, I feel my body now. I can move. Then they say, let me remain there till the last kilometer.
I thank New Delhi for inviting me. It was amazing racing here, and it was a good race, really good. I enjoyed it. There were really amazing fans on the road coming, cheering up. I enjoyed it, the cheering up of them, so I really appreciate them.
Among Indians, Abhishek Pal clinched his third Delhi Half Marathon title, while Seema triumphed in the women's race. Behind the scenes, the seamless organization was ensured by 200 volunteers, 400 healthcare providers, Delhi Police, DMRC and NDMC. As the sun rose over the capital, the streets pulsed with music, cheers, and steady rhythm of thousands of footsteps, a celebration of fitness, togetherness, and Delhi's undying zest for life. Abhishek Prasad's report, DD India, New Delhi.
Manuel Alvarez, Spain's oldest active chess player, celebrated his 104th birthday on Sunday with a special chess tournament in Madrid's neighborhood, drawing over 160 participants to honor his enduring legacy in the game. The retired engineer, who began playing chess competitively at the age of 22, has remained active in the sport for over 8 decades. Known affectionately as Don Manuel, Alvarez has earned widespread admiration in Spain's chess community for his dedication and longevity. The tournament served as both a celebration of Alvarez's milestone birthday and a tribute to his contributions to chess. And with that, we end this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.